no doubt Lennart Karl is going to the World Cup for Germany, because if Germany is making history and surprising everyone, it's with Lennart Karl, Jamal Musiala, Florian Wirtz, Pavlovic, and Tom Bischoff. Behind Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, Jamal Musiala, Michael Olise, and Lennart Karl. This is a team that could win the Champions League, even though they lost to Arsenal. And I said this. For me, Michael Olise is the second best right winger in football, only behind Lamine Yamal.
I think Lamine Yamal will win the Ballon d'Or in 2026.
So you think Spain's going to win the World Cup?
Episode 16 of the FC Wonderkid podcast. Alex, how are you doing?
I'm feeling so good. After seeing Man City demolish Crystal Palace, the Premier League is so back, and we're going to talk about that exactly in the FC Wonderkid podcast. But yes, I'm extremely happy to be here with you, Philippe Souza. Then how are you feeling with all these Wonderkids going bold this week too?
I'm very curious to see how they will continue to develop during this season, because I think a lot of youngsters are proving themselves this seasons in the Big Five leagues and outside the Big Five leagues. I think I don't remember a season where so many youngsters are playing so many minutes and proving themselves, and I'm very happy to see that.
And a big example that we can see right at the start of the podcast, Lennart Karl, that keeps scoring every game for Bayern Munich. This week against Sporting, against Mainz, he scores the first goal. So yes, obviously we're going to mention in this podcast, but episode 16 of the FC Wonderkid podcast, we're mentioning Wonderkids that 100% you must know leading up to the January transfer window. We're talking about the Premier League title race with Man City's young core making the difference, and 2026 Wonderkids predictions, very bold predictions, and I can already give you a glimpse that I'm going to have a prediction involving José Neto of Benfica, the left back that you must know of the Under-17 World Cup. But yes, like this video, it's a huge help for us here on YouTube, FC Wonderkid, 5 stars on Spotify, subscribe on Apple Podcasts if you're listening on those platforms. Every like, every follow is a huge help for us here at FC Wonderkid, and US, England, Nigeria, Ghana, Mali, Morocco, Japan. We got FC Wonderkid followers everywhere. Thank you, everyone that support us. The best podcast talking about young players, and you make this happen, okay?
True.
So, gonna start here with the Premier League title race with this young core. Rayan, Cherki, and Phil Foden are quaking Arsenal fans' boots completely. This young duo is the best duo offensively right now in the Premier League.
Right now, but Alex, the football, you know better than me that the football changed quickly. But right now Foden is in a brilliant form. Rayan, Cherki, I think it's a joy to watch. It's an entertainer. I love to watch him play, and I think Pep Guardiola will turn Cherki into a real demon.
Could Cherki start for France in the World Cup?
Yes, for sure. I think in the second half of the season, I'm repeating myself because I said it in the last episodes. I think in the second half of the season, Rayan, Cherki will be even better.
No player in the Premier League has more assists currently than Cherki.
Yeah.
And he just arrived.
Yeah.
£30 million. We said it. It's a bargain. And the duo of Cherki, Foden, Erling Haaland, the best player in the Premier League with 17 goals and 3 assists this season. You can just they feel the responsibility of being the best team in the Premier League. And Foden, Ruben Dias, and Rodri that's going to come back. These are references of players that have won multiple Premier Leagues with Man City. And now with this young youth, Rayan, Cherki, Erling Haaland winning a Premier League as the best player of the team, clearly with De Bruyne out. Foden is feeling that he has to be the big player, winning 6 Premier Leagues. But now this will be the first Premier League without De Bruyne too. I just think this young core now respects a lot more the situation that they are, and they trust Guardiola completely. True. I'm not saying they didn't trust before, but they trust the group and the tactics of what Guardiola is asking. Now, this season, Man City with Nico Gonzalez, Savinho better, Doku better, Foden with more responsibility, Erling Haaland being the best player in the Premier League, City has the feeling of being the best team in the Premier League. You can almost certainly believe that every player in Man City thinks that Man City is going to win the Premier League. And that kind of focus that Man City has it's scary. It's scary, and that's why I think Man City is going to win the Premier League. I really think.
I think it's between Arsenal and Manchester City because they are the two teams that are more consistent.
2-point gap.
They are very consistent, and in the Premier League, if you want to win a championship like the Premier League, you have to be consistent, and you will have very tough games during this season because every game in the Premier League is a tough game.
True.
So I think yes, Man City is alongside with Arsenal is the main contender to win the Premier League. But let me say this: in this new Manchester City team, I think there are 4 young players that are crucial in this team because Nico O'Reilly, Rayan Cherki, Jeremy Doku, and Nico Gonzalez. In my opinion,
agree.
In my opinion, these two is the face of the new Manchester City. These 4 guys are crucial for the team.
People need to respect Nico Gonzalez more because Rodri is not there and City has won 5 games in a row. Last season, City couldn't have done this without a Nico Gonzalez, which they signed in January.
And we know how the Pep Guardiola teams play, and we know how important is a CDM in the build-up play. And Nico Gonzalez is doing that role amazingly, and I think he's underrated. I think people don't talk too much about him, but I think he's crucial also for this Manchester City form, and I think you don't feel so much the absence of Rodri because of Nico Gonzalez.
And I think it's more obvious by the week, Nico O'Reilly is going to start for England at left back. I really think that. Miles Lewis-Skelly, phenomenal talent, but he is not a must starter for Arsenal right now. Nico O'Reilly is literally being the differential in many games for Man City in a win. In a clutch moment defensively, we saw many times against Palace today. He's stepping up so much. And just like Miles Lewis-Skelly, he was a midfielder and he's playing at the left back at such a high level. Thomas Tuchel in the stands. Nico O'Reilly clearly impressed him.
That's the most difference that I see in Nico O'Reilly this season because Nico O'Reilly was better than Miles Lewis-Skelly offensively, but this season the improvement in terms of in defensively terms, it's insane, and he improved so much this season. And I think he may start for England in the World Cup. I think let's see what Miles Lewis-Skelly will do also in the rest of the season, of course, because I think it's very difficult because Arsenal have a lot of options and great options for the defense. For example, Nkapie, Calafiori can play also as a left back, in a position where
I think Calafiori is the best left back for Arsenal this season. Most consistent player.
Yeah, true. But I think Nkapie is becoming more and more important for the team, and Nkapie can play as a centre back and as a left back, just like Calafiori.
True. Very similar, both players in that sense.
And that's that depth in the defense of Arsenal that makes them so consistent in the defense in all of the games because they have a lot of options. They can play left back, centre back, right back. So
and at home, look at the confidence. Arsenal this season at the Emirates, 12 games, 12 wins, 31 goals scored, 4 goals conceded. With all these injuries now that have happened of Gabriel, Saliba, Mosquera, they still only conceded 4 goals in the Emirates. This shows how good of a team Arteta has built, but there's an issue in terms of goal scoring. Trossard, Eze, Odegaard, Victor Gyökeres still do not play with the same dynamics that you see at Man City with Cherki, Foden, Erling Haaland. Naturally so, they haven't played for long together. But it needs to be spoken a lot more. Martin Odegaard is not in good form for Arsenal. Cherki is playing better than him. Bruno Fernandes is playing better than him. Phil Foden is playing better than him. And if Arsenal is surpassing Man City and winning the Premier League, the dynamics of Martin Odegaard with Victor Gyökeres needs to be better. So many movements I saw Gyökeres not getting fed, feeding the beast of Gyökeres. Odegaard was not passing the ball. you clearly felt that they didn't work in sync. So Martin Odegaard needs to be talked more this season. He's in poor form, and Arsenal needs solutions.
Yes, but I think Gyökeres simply does not fit this style of play of Arteta. This positional attack is not for him. Let's say it's not for him because he likes transitions to be quick and attacks the space. It's not how Arsenal plays.
True.
And we said it here in the beginning of the season that this Gyökeres move for Arsenal in terms of the profile of the player was very strange in my opinion, because I saw how Arsenal play, and I would think in 3 or 4 strikers that the profile would match with this style of play. True. And Gyökeres is not one of them. True. So, but I think in the defensive part, the recruitment was insane. In the striker position, I think it was not so.
And last
so good,
thing in
so
the
good.
Premier League, this is a 3-team title race currently because Unai Emery is going extremely bold with Aston Villa. Aston Villa has 9 wins in a row in all competitions. Aston Villa currently are the favourites to win the Europa League. Unai Emery is one of the most underrated managers in football, and if he wins the Europa League this season, it will be 5 Europa League wins. 3 at Sevilla, 1 at Villarreal, and 1 at Aston Villa if it happens. And look at a player like Morgan Rogers. Then since last season, he's got 19 goals and 18 assists. He's clearly developed so much under Unai Emery, and a top player that must obviously be selected for England in the World Cup, as he will be.
True. He's the best player of this Aston Villa team, in my opinion. He's the key player of the team.
And him and Tielemans. Tielemans for me is the unspoken leader.
For sure. I agree with you, but I think Morgan Rogers is the leader of
Paul
this team.
Torres also very important. But Ollie Watkins, when he's confident in scoring goals, he makes a big difference too.
True. But I think Morgan Rogers has to be an option for the starting 11 of the England national team because he's the leader of the 3rd place in the Premier League. He has 5 goals and 3 assists in the Premier League this season. He's a midfielder, so
Foden, Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers, all of them Man City Academy. All these 3 players mentioned.
Good luck, Tuchel.
That's a hard decision. But yes, we had to mention Premier League here at the start because the Premier League is going so bold. But mention in the YouTube comment section, who do you think is going to win the Premier League? And last thing, Phil Foden, 10 goals, 5 assists this season. Insane stats. But yes, we mentioned here, we got to talk about Wonderkids that are going to be on the move in 2026. Maybe they won't move in January, but we still believe they deserve big moves, okay? Because of how good they are this season. I wanted to start here. I didn't give you the preview before we started the part of this player. But Yan Diomande arrived in the Bundesliga this season, and he already became the youngest player to score a hat-trick in the Bundesliga since 1965. And I think he's only going to be in the Bundesliga one season for how special he is. The positive actions that he does, Yan Diomande, just tells me how special and how important he can be for a top team, better than RB Leipzig. Great move going from Leganes to RB Leipzig, Yan Diomande, but he's got the talent to be a starter at an Arsenal, at a top European team, Yan Diomande, and he will start for the Ivory Coast too. All of the FC Wonderkid listeners, you must know about Yan Diomande, one of the best young left wingers in football currently.
And I think that's what will happen because Yan Diomande is playing at a level that it's not normal for a player that turned 19 2 weeks ago,
and just moved to a new country.
And he adapted so quickly. And I think next season he will be in the Premier League or in a big club. I think maybe Bayern Munich.
We agree.
Yeah, we agree on that. I think Yan Diomande is. I will say he's one of the players that impressed me the most this season. I didn't expect this type of impact, and I think no one expected this type of
only Leipzig.
Only Leipzig. Yeah. Top recruitment again from RB Leipzig. We have to say because they have been consistent in the recruitment.
And Konrad Harder is starting to have goal involvements in the last few games against Frankfurt, and now in the last game too. Yeah, so RB Leipzig we have to mention in a great way. And yes, another wonder Wonderkid that might, I don't know if he'll move in January. I think he'll stay because he just moved also, but he's not being as good as Yan Diomande. Ibrahim Maza that won the Bundesliga Rookie of the Month award. The future of Argelia. This is a great, great talent in the Bundesliga. And just like Yan Diomande, Ibrahim Maza, he destroyed Benfica. I was very impressed by that match of in the Champions League against Benfica. But yes, I really wanted to mention that this is another Wonderkid that all the listeners must know.
True. Bundesliga is full of Wonderkids right now because we have a lot of teams. We have Luka Vuskovic in Hamburg. We have Lennart Karl in Bayern Munich. Yan Diomande in RB Leipzig. We have Aran Anselmino in Borussia Dortmund. We have...
Since you mentioned Lennart Karl first, Lennart Karl became the youngest player ever in Champions League history to score in 3 consecutive matches.
Yeah.
Insane what he did against Club Brugge, against Arsenal, and against Sporting. To do that at such a young age. And I'll say he's the best player born in 2008. No doubt in my mind. And we spoke a couple of weeks ago, could he go to the World Cup? No doubt Lennart Karl is going to the World Cup for Germany, because if Germany is making history and surprising everyone, it's with Lennart Karl, Jamal Musiala, Florian Wirtz, Pavlovic, and Tom Bischoff.
And 4 goals in the last 5 starts for Bayern Munich. Insane. I think I don't know if people are realizing that, but I think Lennart Karl is a type of talent that will be on the same level as Estevão, for example.
I think
it's the same. It's
talent,
the same potential.
It's
the same potential.
Ballon d'Or potential.
Ballon d'Or potential. 17 years old, and I think he will grow up. He will mature more. I think he has a lot to mature, and I think the impact next season will be insane. I think will be a crucial player for Bayern Munich, and we are talking about one of the best teams in the world.
True.
He's becoming even more times a starter.
I could see Lennart Karl having a similar World Cup to a Euros that Lamine Yamal had in importance. Why? Because Lennart Karl has the talent level and the potential of Lamine Yamal that's winning a Ballon d'Or. True. So for Germany, if he can make it happen at the highest level in the World Cup, people will start to say he's the Copa Trophy winner and then a Ballon d'Or contender in the following season. But the question is, with Jamal Musiala returning, what's Kompany going to do? Luis Diaz at the left, Jamal Musiala behind Harry Kane, and Olise at the right. Where's Lennart Karl going to be?
I think there are a lot of games. I think these 3 positions, Lennart Karl can play as a winger. Michael Olise can play as a 10. I think these 4 players. You have Gnabry too.
True.
You have these 5 players.
But I think Lennart Karl's past in the hierarchy. Gnabry.
So insane. Insane. That's the type of talent that we are talking about.
Behind Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, Jamal Musiala, Michael Olise, and Lennart Karl. This is a team that could win the Champions League, even though they lost to Arsenal. We do not know the player that Lennart Karl is going to be at the end of the season. He's improving as we see him.
Yeah, because I saw him in the preseason. He was good, but we could see, okay, he's a youngster. That is the first time in the first team, okay. But right now, you can see the confidence that he has on the game. He knows how he plays. He has confidence in his quality, and I think he's improving so much. I think the second half of the season of Lennart Karl will be scary.
If you ask me like this, Estevão or Lennart Karl, right now I can't answer. Because I need to see more games from both Estevão and both Lennart Karl at the highest level. As we said, both have Ballon d'Or potential to compete with Lamine Yamal in the near future, okay? So this is so special, and we had to mention it here at the start of the podcast. Lennart Karl, that's getting an extension soon at Bayern Munich, and he's going to be treated like the prince of Bayern Munich, like Lamine Yamal is the prince of Barcelona, or the king in his mind, you know?
He's already the king.
Exactly. So I wanted to mention him at the start because he is a player that can be on the move. And then we have the young player of Hertha de Berlin. I don't know if you can help me with this name and the listeners too, because maybe we're butchering the name of this generational young midfielder of Hertha de Berlin,
Kenneth Achorn, that is being chased by Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, and Bayern Munich.
And the youngest player to ever score and play for Hertha de Berlin. This is a young player that might be moving to Bayern Munich because all the best German talents they tend to go to Bayern Munich.
True. I think he will be. I think he will be at Bayern Munich. I think
Exactly.
he's a player that would suit right now the system of Vincent Kompany, because Bayern Munich is a team that likes so much to have the ball. And this guy is a player that can play as a number 6 or number 8.
And for Bayern Munich, the rebuild, having Kenneth Heichard, then you have Tom Bischoff, Alexander Pavlovic. These are 3 unreal German under-23 players.
True.
And all midfielders.
Yeah.
The rebuild is complete.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. So, Kenneth Heichard or Zé Lucas? 2 elite young CDMs.
In terms of potential, Kenneth Eichhorn, in my opinion, because he's 16. He's 16. He's playing in Hertha Berlin, the second division of Germany, as a 16-year-old. And I think the impact that he has on Hertha Berlin is already significant.
And physically, he's more ready than Zé Lucas right now.
Physically, right now, he's more ready than Zé Lucas to play at a senior level, because we are talking about a complete midfielder, because he's composed on the ball, but he's strong in the duels and physically robust. 1 meter and 86 centimeters for
a 16-year-old.
Tall, very tall for his age, and I think he will mature as well, and I think he has more potential than Zé Lucas.
I agree. I completely agree. And I'm not going to be stating here that he's going to go to Germany in the World Cup. However, if there is a chance of him moving, as we said, to Bayern Munich in the summer, this is certainly a player that in the future, after the World Cup, we could see him being in the German national team, increasing his profile and importance. But this is a Wonderkid that you listeners must know. And I wanted to mention here too, be a bit of Portuguese bias, but this is a player that I also want to make a quick question about him too. You know who I'm hinting here. Matheus Fernandes is the most underrated Wonderkid in the Premier League. 50 Premier League matches for both Southampton and West Ham. He's increasing his importance at West Ham, and he's just arrived under Nuno Espírito Santo, clearly improving him. And I love him because he was an attacking midfielder when he played in the youth academy. He played as a central midfielder for Estoril, clearly improved in duels, defensive actions, and now in the Premier League, he's growing and growing. And I think he 100% deserves a Portuguese call-up before the World Cup to see if Matheus Fernandes deserves to get the call-up in the World Cup. He deserves the chance in March to get that Portuguese national team call-up.
True. I think it's so impressive how well he adapted to the Premier League.
Exactly.
Because he's now very aggressive. I think he won 16 duels
against Brighton.
Insane.
And he scores the fastest goal in the Premier League this season. Today. Roberto Martinez, come on, pay attention. You're doing press conferences with Marc Cucurella in England. See a Matheus Fernandes that is being one of the best players in the Premier League in the past 3 weeks.
We used to see Matheus Fernandes playing at the Sporting Youth Academy, and he was a pure number 10.
True.
And he adapted. He's a very complete midfielder now. Very strong in the duels. Very physically more robust right now. And remains with the technique, with his technique, and it's also a joy to watch. So I think I agree with your statement. I think he's the most underrated under 21 player in the Premier League.
And Noah Sadiki also of Sunderland. I saw a couple of reports today stating Man United, Chelsea. The future of Congo. Great move by Sunderland that had an important match today against Newcastle. Derby. After 9 years, we see this Derby once again in the Premier League, and Sunderland, they won that match. So big respect to them.
Big respect to Sunderland. I didn't expect this performance from Sunderland this season, because they spent so much money and signed so many players that I think it's difficult to find a connection between them, but they find it. So, and with a lot of young talents, because we're talking about Talbi, Mayenda, that also have an impact on this team. And I'm very happy to see this season of Sunderland. And
since I mentioned Matheus Fernandes, there's also another Wonderkid, in Portuguese Wonderkid, that I want to mention here in the FC Wonderkid podcast, that this is one of the most underrated Wonderkids outside of the top 5 leagues. Yes, he's Portuguese. Yes, he's the captain of his team. And yes, he's played 100 games for Famalicão, and he's the captain of this team. So Gustavo Sá, a player that you must know that is not playing for Benfica, Sporting or Porto, but he's one of the best Wonderkids outside of the top 5 leagues. Gustavo Sá, the technique, the importance, the leadership, the goal involvements, the key moments that he has goals, assists against Benfica, against Sporting, against Porto. I've seen him be crucial in those matches. This is a must name that you gotta know, Gustavo Sá. And at Famalicão, you also have Matias Damorim next to him in midfield, and Zaviri, that we saw one of the best players in the Under-20 World Cup, the man of the match in the final, that he went so bold and scored 2
and top
goals.
goal scorer.
Exactly. So Famalicão, Gustavo Sá is a must name that you gotta know of young players. He might be really good on Football Manager, I'm not sure, but Zaviri, Gustavo Sá, Matias Damorim, all ballers playing in the Portuguese league. And the other baller I wanted to mention too, Omar Camara. Okay, Omar Camara left PSG's academy and he went straight to Vitória Guimarães. And this season he's got 4 goals and 1 assist. Guimarães hasn't lost 6 games in their last 6 games. And Omar Camara is clearly raising the standard next to Benny Mukendi, another young midfielder, 23 years old, and goal and midfielder that also is underrated. And he could get a move to another league and definitely be a very important player. Like Mohamed Diomande of Rangers, in very similar profile to Benny Mukendi. So I really wanted to also mention that. And Vitória has a young manager, Luís Pinto. 36 years old.
That was a lot criticized a lot in the beginning, but
Which
right
is normal.
Right now, he started to win games, and he's right now in the 6th place in the Portuguese league.
Rodrigo Abascal playing better. You have now Omar Camara. You have the right leaders in this team clearly playing. And yes, last season, Luís Pinto promoted Tondela to the 1st division and won the 2nd league.
Yeah, and he lost a lot of important players in this season for Vitória, and he started to win games because I think trust Luís Pinto. I think he will be a great manager in the future. And the Portuguese league has also great young manager because we have Luís Pinto, Vasco Botelho da Costa as well.
Yes,
that are 2 managers that I think will have a bright future. But let's see.
Exactly. And wanted to mention also, this is our South African listeners at FC Wonderkid are gonna love this, and this is a player that I must pay attention because he's going to be in the World Cup, and the manager of his national team stated that he didn't like the move that he did. Mbokazi, the best young center-back of South Africa, as it seems, the youngest captain of Orlando Pirates to win a trophy for this team. He went to Chicago Fire, and the manager of the national team of South Africa stated, what is he going to do in Chicago? This is a very bold statement, not good for Mbokazi, but this is a talent that we must pay attention here at FC Wonderkid that will want to start for South Africa in the World Cup. And being in the MLS, developing for 6 months, we might see him impressing Mbokazi in the AFCON and also in the World Cup. And then it seems that he's got to leave Chicago Fire, okay? And he just arrived. So hopefully we can see elite competitions from Mbokazi in the AFCON, in the World Cup, and see him come to Europe if he's such an elite young center backs, as many as our South African listeners say. They say Mbokazi is a generational talent. Mbokazi is the best South African young center back they've seen. I want to see it. And going to Chicago, just like the South African manager, I had higher expectations. I have higher expectations to come to Europe. But I've seen players improve in the MLS and then come to Europe. So let's see what's going to happen with Mbokazi, that I hope he starts for South Africa and he becomes a key player for Chicago Fire.
I think it will depend on the context of Chicago Fire, because I think if he will play in the MLS Next Pro,
the second MLS,
I think
poor move.
It was not the best decision for him, and I think maybe European teams would be happy to have him on their teams, and he decided to go to MLS.
Exactly.
But let's see. Just like you said, I've seen a lot of players going to MLS, improved, and going to Europe.
Thiago
Almada, for example. I hope that's what will happen. But yeah, I need to see more about this player to be honest. I don't know so much.
It's a lot of the listeners. I'm trusting the South African listeners.
I have to see him. But I want to talk about also the Belgium talents, and one that won the Player of the Month of the Belgian Pro League, that is Nathan de Cat. That Bayern Munich is monitoring him, and so well deserved, because he's right now as 17 year old, the number 6 of Anderlecht, and the importance that he has on the team is not normal for a 17-year-old.
True.
Just like we see in Karetzes, that a lot of people know from Genk, that is one of the best players on the team. Nathan de Cat is right now one of the best players in Anderlecht, because the importance that he has in the build-up phase of Anderlecht, the amount of balls that he recovers, the amount of duels that he wins, it's insane. And I think it will be it's the last season, I think, that we will spend in Anderlecht. And I think the Belgian future for the number 6 position, it's insane, because they have Nathan de Cat and they have also Jordi Mokyo that can play as a centre back. And today he scored an insane golazo for Ajax, and
also at Ajax, Mika Godts
that made the assist for this goal.
And he could move in January, because Ajax is financially very poor, and I don't think Ajax fans are expecting to win the league. So if a big offer of 25 to 30 million comes from Mika Godts, they might be considering. So Mika Godts, Jordi Mokyo, Nathan de Cat. Oh, it's a pity for the Belgian fans not so convinced Karetzes. But Greek fans, they're very happy with Karetzes being there. But yes, the Belgium League, great mention. Saying. But who do you think could sign? You said Nathan de Cat, Bayern Munich. However, do you think he's really going to Bayern Munich? Because it's also Dortmund. We said it in previous podcasts. I would prefer Nathan de Cat to go to Borussia Dortmund than Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich, Pavlovic, Tom Bischoff, we talked about Kenneth H. They could get him. Nathan de Cat, if he goes to Dortmund, he's the key starter.
Yeah, and I think Nathan de Cat will take this account, that account in
and could he go to the World Cup?
Nathan de Cat, yes. I think
what a development. Starting the season in the Under-17 World Cup, and then growing at Anderlecht, becoming a key starter, and going to the World Cup at the end of the season.
And we saw him in the Under-17 Euros during the summer, and we saw him in the Under-17 World Cup, and we see that he was one of the best players of those competitions, and he was a level ahead of the others, the main players. So I think Nathan de Cat, I think I would choose Borussia Dortmund in my opinion too, because I think he needs to play a lot of minutes in the Big 5 leagues for the best of his career. And Bayern Munich has to do a choice here, because if they sign Nathan de Cat, I think they will not sign Kenneth H. Horn, for example.
True, they need to sign just one of them.
And I think it's the best for both of them.
Don't make a Liverpool move like Ekitike and Alexander Isaac at the same time. But please. Also wanted to mention, we mentioned this name in many podcast episodes of season 3, Rayan, that has extended with Vasco da Gama. Very important move from Vasco da Gama, 60 million release clause. If he's leaving Vasco da Gama, 100% Rayan should leave for more than 40 million. Minimal, okay? And I'm glad that Vasco da Gama got an extension, because he's grown in importance. He started as a winger. He's playing now as a striker. He's got 20 goals for Vasco da Gama this season. And I'll be honest, he's one of the most exciting under-21 players in South America, no doubt in my mind. We could see Rayan be called up for the Brazil national team in the World Cup. And the link-up play, the power, the left foot that he has makes him such a special forward. Rayan inevitably is coming to Europe. But it's just who is going to sign him and who's going to spend the 40 to 50 million. That's the big question.
Yeah, that's the big question. I think Premier League clubs, because...
there was a time we thought he could have gone to Portugal, to Eredivisie, but not anymore.
But right now, Rayan. You will not sign Rayan for 20 million right
exactly.
now. So
impossible.
It's impossible.
So Rayan of Vasco da Gama is a player that you must know, must pay more attention. And he is a player that we're going to monitor, obviously, here in the FC Wonderkid good podcast. Do you have any more names that you want to mention here in the transfers to watch out?
Yes, I think there are two players in Ajax as well. Rayan Bonida, that is really impressing me. He's starting to get minutes in the Ajax first team, and I think he's a brilliant talent. And I think with the financial issues of Ajax, he could leave, but let's see. And other player also from Ajax, that is Bowman, the centre back, the 18-year-old centre back that is also starting to play for Ajax, is a very good centre back because he's very complete. And right now in the modern football, it's not just being good in the duels, being good defensively. It's also about being good on the ball.
True.
And his ball distribution, it's very good. And I think he has also a bright future ahead. And that's why he's already playing in the Ajax first team.
For me, my last mentions are three must names that you got to know of young midfielders that I think deserve a move in January. My first name is Batrakov of Lokomotiv Moscow. This is a player that could play in the top 5 leagues, no doubt in my mind, with 31 goals and 16 assists. Okay, this is in 66 games for Lokomotiv Moscow. Precision finishing, off-ball movement, incredibly good. Another name, Keith Smith, that I think inevitably he has to leave AZ Alkmaar. And I've said it in the past, Newcastle is the best destination, in my opinion, to compete with Lewis Miley. And obviously I said Gustav Sa, a must name that you got to know in young midfielders that also deserves a move. So I think Batrakov, Keith Smith and Gustav Sa are 3 young midfielders that in January deserve a move, and you guys must know. So I wanted to mention that in this podcast.
Very well said.
Here at the end, we have some bold predictions about Wonderkids in 2026. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you a quick question because I had a bit of a debate with some mates at work, and they were, and I said this. For me, Michael Olise is the second best right winger in football, only behind Lamine Yamal. Do you agree with this statement?
I agree completely. And I think it's a joke, the last Ballon d'Or award, because saying that Michael Olise is the 30th best player in the world. It's
when he's got 23 games, 9 goals, 14 assists this season.
No sense. So I think Michael Olise is one of the best players in the world right now. He's a world-class player.
You'd say top 10 right now?
Right now, top 10. Right now, top 10.
We agree.
Because the consistent that he has, Champions League, Bundesliga, German Cup, he always plays better.
True.
And I like players with this type of consistency. It's like Pedri. Pedri, I don't remember to see a bad game of Pedri.
Pedri, Valentín, Barco, and Michael Olise.
Yeah,
very players consistent. That don't have bad games.
Yeah, very consistent. And Michael Olise, I think, was a brilliant signing for Crystal Palace. When he signed, one of my concerns was the injuries, and I think Bayern Munich is handling this well because
and he improved a lot in goal involvements from Reading to Crystal Palace and from Crystal Palace to Bayern Munich, always increasing his goal involvements per season, and the level and the difficulty increasing too.
True, but in Crystal Palace, he spent some time injured, and I think those numbers of Crystal Palace could be bigger if he was injury-free from the beginning to the end.
There was a time that Eze, Zaha, and Olise all played together. This is such a special time for Crystal Palace fans, even though they lost 3-0 to Man City, but only 2 losses at home in the Premier League this season, and to both Manchester teams, Man City and Man United. But Marc Guehi being there, Daniel Munoz, Adam Morton, this is such a special Crystal Palace team. So, wanted to say the Wonderkids predictions in 2026 that we're gonna react here at the end. Please go bold and say your predictions on YouTube too. We love to see your YouTube comments that we're gonna mention here at the end of the podcast. So my first bold prediction that is Wonderkids related, I believe Strasbourg is gonna win the UEFA Conference League. I think Liam Rossinier is such an underrated manager, and he could be coaching in the Premier League. 100% he has that level, and the young team that he has with Strasbourg is so special. With Valentín, Barco, Panichelli, Kendry Paez is gonna be better. I think they're going to win this Conference League, and they beat Crystal Palace, which is the other contender.
I think it's not so bold. I think they are one of the main contenders too.
Yes.
They have Crystal Palace, Strasbourg,
And winning the Conference League one season after Chelsea won it.
Yeah.
Blueco dominates the Conference League.
No. And one of the teams that I'm really liking to see in the Conference League is Shakhtar Donetsk.
Okay,
because
nice.
they have a lot of young Brazilian talents.
True.
They have Isaac from Fluminense that they signed for 10 million euros.
Bargain.
And he's already scoring goals, assists in the European competitions like Conference League and in the Ukrainian Premier League.
True.
And it's one of the talents that I think he spends like 1 or 2 more years in Shakhtar, and he will leave.
We've seen it happen, yes.
And other player that is from Santos Youth Academy is Luca Meireles, that is already scoring a lot of goals as well. So these two players that Shakhtar signed from Brazil, I think they will leave Shakhtar in like 1 or 2 years, and I think they have a bright future ahead. And we have to talk about the insane recruitment from Shakhtar Donetsk in Brazil, because the team is all of Brazilians.
Yes.
So I think.
And we've seen the past: William, Kevin, Alex Teixeira. So many young players.
They have
that are
Cauã
ballers.
Elias as well.
Exactly. So this is a team that when they sign in Brazil, you must pay attention completely.
True.
So my other bold prediction is related to Portuguese youngsters. José Neto, baller of the Under-17 World Cup that Portugal won, will be a starter for Benfica at the end of this season. José Neto is a name you must know, and against Samuel Dal, I think he can grow in importance at this club. And José Mourinho is going to trust him. Come on, José Neto, a player that you must remember the name.
He already said it in the press conference that he wanted to be the guy that
Plays José Neto.
José Neto.
He got some minutes in the Champions League match at the end.
And very well deserved, because José Neto made a brilliant Under-17 World Cup, and I think José Mourinho trust a lot José Neto. It was not just because of the World Cup, because a lot of Benfica players were at that World Cup, because you have Mauro Furtado that is playing in the Under-19 team. You have Rafael Quintas that is playing in the second team and the Under-23 team. But the chosen one to be in the first team, to train with the first team and to be an option was José Neto, because José Mourinho saw something in José Neto, and I think he has the potential to become world-class left back.
Benfica's next season, in Benfica's pre-season, Rafael Quintas, Daniel Banjaki, José Neto's mandatory going to be there beforehand. Mauro Furtado,
And
they all
Isu
have to
Cabral.
there. And Isu Cabral as a goal scorer, for sure. Come on, trust the youth. This is no doubt in my mind that it needs to happen. Mauro Furtado, under 18, young centre backs, one of the best in terms of ball playing ability, and he's left-footed. Must know. Come on, FC Wonderkid listeners.
I agree with you, and this Benfica generation it's insane. Porto generation,
Even
is
though
also very
Bernard
good.
Lima, Mateus Mid,
Mateus Mid and
two
Bernardo
elite
Lima,
young midfielders.
yeah, true, with a bright future ahead as well.
So, tell me another one
Yeah.
of your predictions.
So my bold prediction
Ui,
is I think Lamine Yamal will win the Ballon d'Or in 2026,
So you think Spain's going to win the World Cup?
or that Barcelona will win the Champions League.
One of those two competitions he must win to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, he will win one of the two.
I hope he doesn't, mate. I hope he doesn't. I hope Portugal wins the World Cup, and I hope... Well, you know, I think the two biggest contenders to win the Ballon d'Or is Lamine Yamal and Erling Haaland currently.
And Mbappé.
But Mbappé, he's in a tough situation at Real Madrid. There's 7 points from Barcelona.
We know when the tough phases of the Champions League arrive. We know how Real Madrid handles this type of games.
Last season,
And-
Arsenal knows too. They did eliminate them.
Okay, but let's see what happens this year
I
with
know.
Xabi Alonso. I have confidence in Xabi Alonso, I have to say, because I think Xabi Alonso is a brilliant manager. I think
He's a brilliant tactician, but is he a manager of a Real Madrid level team like a Zidane, like an Ancelotti? Because tactically, Xabi Alonso must be very rigorous and he must ask a lot from the players. Ancelotti and Zidane are not those types of managers.
yeah, but
So
they
that could-
handled well the dressing room.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So that can be a difference. And a big obstacle with Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid. I hope I'm wrong, okay? But all these young managers, Xabi Alonso, Ruben Amorim, Cesc Fabregas, are very tactical, they're very rigorous, and they study so much the beautiful game. I don't know if the locker room of a Real Madrid team wants to study so much footage like a Xabi Alonso must ask.
Okay, yeah, but I think if he does not have success in Real Madrid, he will have success in other places.
Elsewhere, sure. Like Fabregas with the responsibility at Como, Guardiola with the responsibility that he had at Man City, like he had in the past responsibility were at Bayer Leverkusen, and he won their first league title in 120 years without any losses. That will always be on our minds. But could we see Xabi Alonso staying at Real Madrid 3 seasons? If that happens, it's 100% without Vinicius Junior.
I think Vinicius Junior needs to leave. I think, in my opinion, because Vinicius Junior wants to be the best player of the team, and you have Mbappé in the same team.
He's not even the second best player when you have Jude Bellingham also there.
Yeah. I think it's very difficult to control this dressing room.
And there's some people that state that Rodrigo is better than Vini. You don't want to say that statement. We've seen a higher peak with Vinicius Junior. That's why he was nominated second in the Ballon d'Or, and that's why that was the case. Another bold prediction I have here. It's not very bold. I think this is a fact that you guys must know before it happens. JJ Gabriel will become the youngest player ever to play for Manchester United with Ruben Amorim, deservingly so because, and we can say this confidently too, Philippe, he is one of the best talents ever to play in Carrington, and that's why he's getting this special treatment, training with the first team. And it's not so bold to say that he could get so many minutes next season in the Premier League because Man United need a player that one-on-one creative mind has the excellence, the special talent that JJ Gabriel has.
And he has the right profile to play in those positions of Man United, of the Ruben Amorim system.
Exactly.
In the 10th position, because this guy, JJ Gabriel, played as a left winger last week.
And played as a striker in the under 18s.
And I saw that game of JJ Gabriel, and he reminded me so much, playing as a left winger, of Neymar. The body movement, everything.
The body feints. How he's gonna go here, he goes there. Oh.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Neymar, and I think he has the right profile to play as that number 10s of the Ruben Amorim system. And I agree with you because the youngest player to play for Man United, I think, was Angel Gomes, and he was like 16 years and 8 months old. So
now at Marcel, oh man, times change.
So JJ Gabriel just turned 15.
True. So he could be the man to be the youngest to ever play for Manchester United. So tell me another one of your bold predictions.
Lennart Karl will win the Golden Boy Award in 2026.
Next season. I think that's a bold prediction. I agree. I also agree with you.
Because I think he is already so good. 4 goals in the last 5 starts. He is started to be more confident on his game, and he improved so much from the preseason to December that I think the improvement from December to June will be insane. And I think if he's called up to the World Cup, he scores some goals in the World Cup, important goals for Germany, I think he will win the Golden Boy Award.
And he's in the top 30 of the Ballon d'Or, if that's the case, scoring those important goals at such a
I don't
young
know,
age.
because Michael Olise was
30th. He might be the next 30th that we have to say that he shouldn't be. But yes, that's a good, I like that bold statement. Lamine Yamal and Lennart Karl, the world being dominated by the Wonderkids.
True.
I don't know if Lamine Yamal wins the Ballon d'Or at 18.
He's the youngest ever.
And Lennart Karl winning the Golden Boy. These are 2 players under 19s, both dominating their own categories.
That's what we were talking about in the beginning of this episode. The young generation is dominating the football.
Pedri's still young, João Neves is still young, Jude Bellingham is still young. So many of these players that are icons and references of these teams are still so young.
Yeah.
Football is changing in front of our eyes. Oh my days.
True.
My statement here, I think you're gonna like this. It's going to be difficult because this season Chelsea have a young duo. They have a centre-back duo that seems to be very, very solid. Chelsea centre-back duo this season, Fofana and Chalobah. They're playing great. But next season, I think Aaron Anselmino will start for Chelsea. Ooh. I know you love Josh Achapong, but I think Anselmino, in terms of aggressiveness, in terms of ball playing center back, I just think he can have more of an impact at Chelsea next season. And he's the future starter of the Argentinian national team. Fofana and Anselmino defense, that is going to make so many forwards so mad. Fofana is such a special center back. I love to see him play. And Anselmino is aggressive, and he's going to just rattle all of these forwards in the Premier League.
Anselmino is gaining Champions League experience and Bundesliga experience. That is a thing that it's very important for his development. And I think next season you will see a very different Anselmino and very better Anselmino if he stays injury-free, because this is also very important. Because Anselmino had also already some injuries, and that's one
at Boca Juniors.
At Boca Juniors and Borussia Dortmund as well. So that's what concerns me the most about that statement, because I think if he does a brilliant season at Borussia Dortmund, he has all the conditions to start for Chelsea next season.
And definitely get a chance. And then you have Mamadou Sarr also. So many solid options for the
I think
Chelsea
Josh is ahead of Mamadou Sarr. And
Anselmino's ahead of Josh.
In my opinion, no. In my opinion, Josh is already ahead of Anselmino.
But both, who starts? Chalobah and Fofana, not the Wonderkids that we're mentioning. But Chelsea, oh God, they got so many options.
Josh deserved more minutes, in my opinion. Josh Achapong deserves more minutes.
100%, but they did get a clean sheet together yesterday, Chalobah and Fofana.
Yeah. Of course. Maresca knows better than me, so...
Maresca, I like Maresca. He gets a lot of hates. Okay, you have some results that shouldn't happen, but I think he's doing a good job. It's
impossible to be a Premier League manager without being hated.
And with a young team, exactly.
You see true. The brilliant managers that are right now in the Premier League, who's not received hate? Arteta, Guardiola,
all of them have received hate.
Thomas Frank, Arne Slot right now.
The manager that has received the most hate is Ruben Amorim, no doubt in my mind. And then I think San Lamens, how many losses does he have with Ruben Amorim? Only one loss. And San Lamens is clearly one of the biggest differences that Man United have in this new team. And still people hate so much under Ruben Amorim. But yes, time will prove us right. Do you have another prediction you want to say, so Flip?
Yes. So I have...
I'm liking yours. Lennart Karl, Lamine Yamal.
Valentín Barco should start for Argentina in the 2026 World Cup.
Scaloni, pay attention to the FC Wonderkid podcast. Mr. Consistent, Valentín Barco.
Mr. Consistent. He does not play a bad game. This guy is insane. He's good on the ball, good off the ball. He does all the work that is needed in the midfield.
One of the best left-footed players this season in football.
Yeah, true. And one of the best under-21 players in the Big Five leagues this season. So I think Valentín Barco deserves it, and I think he will be would be a crucial player for Argentina in the World Cup.
True. And could Panichelli get the call up for the World Cup?
I think he will be called up. Yeah, I think he will be called up.
Lautaro, Panichelli,
and Julian Alvarez. So 3 strikers.
And the main reference, Lionel Messi, but Julian Alvarez obviously being the big player next to Lionel Messi scoring those goals to make Argentina one of the contenders.
Because you also have Nico Paz, Franco Mastantuono.
This is an easy one I'm going to say here at the end. Very, very easy. At the end of the year, Giovanni Kenda, Estevão, and Cole Palmer will all start together for Chelsea. And that just shows how special the recruitment of Chelsea is, because all Estevão, Kenda, and Cole Palmer all have Ballon d'Or potential in them. Wow. They make this happen, okay? Chelsea next season are contenders to win the Champions League and the Premier League. I really think that.
And Garnacho will not play.
I think Jamie Bino Jetsons, higher than Garnacho.
It's higher than Garnacho?
For me.
Okay.
I think he's very disrespected by Bino Jetsons. But he's got a lot of the conditions to be a top player one day in the Premier League and for Chelsea. And I can't forget Pedro Neto also, okay? Pedro Neto is the player that can play at the left, that can play at the right, and we've said it in previous podcasts. Pedro Neto will be remembered as one of the best Portuguese forwards in the Premier League. Very, very special player. And if Chelsea is succeeding and getting winning a competition this season, Pedro Neto is one of the main references to make that happen. Must say.
True. Pedro Neto is underrated.
FIFA Club World Cup, who was one of the main references nesta Caicedo?
Yeah,
Pedro Neto.
Pedro Neto. And Moises Caicedo, we have to talk also about him because this guy is another Mr. Consistent. Okay,
Not a Wonderkid
he
anymore.
was sent off like against Liverpool.
Yes.
Okay, that was a bad game. But
That happens.
normally this does not happen,
Exactly.
and Moises Caicedo plays a lot of games well. 90% of the games is crucial for Chelsea, and I think he's the best ball retriever in the world.
Moises Caicedo.
I think it and
That
it's,
Tottenham goal that João Pedro scores with the assist of Caicedo, that's a great moment that shows why
it
he's one of
shows
the
how
best
good he
in terms of ball
yeah.
retrieving.
Yeah.
Very, very true, Flip.
So yeah, I have another one that a Wonderkid that I love from
Hey, I'm scared.
You know that I like La Masia talents, and I think in 2026, Marc Bernal will become a regular starter for Barcelona.
Should be the case.
In my opinion.
Next to Frankie de Jong and Pedri.
Yeah.
That's a great midfield of Barcelona.
Yeah.
But if you do not know Marc Bernal, please pay attention and see the footage, okay? Very, very special talent. Can I ask you so, in 3 years' time, will Fermin Lopez, Gavi and Dani Olmo be at Barcelona?
I think Dani Olmo will leave.
So he left previously and he's going to leave once again.
Yeah,
He leaves to Dinamo Zagreb to find a better life. Will he leave Barcelona so once again?
Yeah.
That's tough, man. That's tough.
Because I think Gavi is sometimes also underrated because people criticize him a lot.
He's
But
been injured a lot.
Gavi is a really talented player.
True.
Okay, a lot of injuries, but I think Gavi and Fermi.
Then you have Dro Fernandes also coming up. You have so many players for the same position.
Guilherme Fernandes. I
Exactly.
think Marc Casado can
Also played in that position.
Would leave, I think, Marc Casado. Because you have Marc Bernal, you have Guilherme Fernandes is also coming up. Because Guilherme Fernandes is another
Tommy
talent.
Marques.
Tony Fernandes as well.
So many midfielders at Barcelona. So between Pedri, Gavi, Dani Olmo, in 3 years' time, you think Dani Olmo is the one that's not going to get the shot? It's difficult. This is a very difficult question.
I didn't see Fermin Lopez leaving Barcelona.
I can't see Gavi leaving Barcelona. Fermin
Gavi
Lopez,
too.
I could see him leaving. Just like I saw Thiago Alcantara leave, and everybody knew that was a stupid decision for Barcelona to sell him for 20 mil to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I think it's a stupid decision, and because Fermi every time he has to play, he delivers.
But Fermin Lopez, unfortunately, is not a must starter for Barcelona because Barcelona are stacked in terms of the attack. Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, the way they play, they want ball retention in the midfield, and Pedri's getting more goal involvements. I think Marc Bernal is a great shout, like you said, because the future of Barcelona needs a top CDM, and Marc Bernal is just that. Do you have any last prediction there?
So my last prediction is Joaquim Panichelli will not stay at Strasbourg next season.
And who will sign Panichelli?
Barcelona or Chelsea?
Should 100% go to Barcelona if that is the case, because if Barcelona gets Panichelli, he will become their next big striker after Lewandowski leaves, and that will be a cheap signing, okay, for how good he can become. Panichelli wouldn't cost more than 60 million, right?
Yeah, no.
So, convince that man to
And
go to La Blaugrana.
We have to talk also about the recruitment that is being done from the second division of Spain. Because the amount of towns Joaquim Panichelli went from the second Spanish division.
Luis Suarez
Suarez for Sporting. And right now you have Jeremiah Hernandez. We already know the demon that this guy will...
Carlos Alvarez, he's not in the second division, but last season in the second division.
Even Fresneda, that came to Sporting, also from the Spanish second division. Obrador, that is not playing for Benfica, but I think it's a league with a lot of talent.
True.
And you could see right now you have from Deportivo Coruña you have David Mella and Jeremiah Hernandez that are two players that are already too good to play in that division.
Jeremiah Hernandez goes to the right team after Deportivo Coruña, could play for Spain. He's as good as Jeremy Pino that is at Crystal Palace. Jeremiah Hernandez.
Yeah.
And this is bold maybe for the
And
people
but
that do
very
not know
good season,
Yeremay.
very good start from Yeremay Pino.
Yeah,
Yeremay
true.
Pino.
But
But,
both
yeah, yeah.
play the same position, and I could see Yeremay Hernandez competing with him, and obviously the starter at the right wing of Spain, Lamine Yamal. But it's just who is going to compete with Lamine Yamal if he's not available? Yeremay Hernandez, Carlos Alvarez, and also who I just mentioned, Yeremay
Yeremay
Pino,
Pino.
are the favorites to be those players.
My favorite is Yeremay Hernandez. I really like him. So
Pacey in terms of the dribble, the technique.
skillful.
Exactly. Very good in tight spaces. This is a player you must know, FC Wonderkid listeners. And here at the end, Ruben Amorim will be the manager of Manchester United next season.
Yes.
And for the people that say that might not be the case if the results get worse, what do you have to say?
You don't know ball.
Must sign players in January. Okay, Elliot Anderson, like we mentioned, a winger, like we mentioned. A lot of these players need to come. And here at the end, we're going to mention here YouTube comments that you must know here at the end of the FC Wonderkid podcast. We had Avi Walker saying, yes, my favorite podcast. Thank you, Mr. Walker, for that great statement.
Thank you.
Ethan Connor saying, we're losing hope, Alex. We need transfers fast. Losing that Everton game hits very hard. I agree that it hit very hard after the international break, but maintain the confidence because that was the only loss that Lamens had at Manchester United.
True. And Man United, if they win against Bournemouth, they will be in the top 4.
Exactly. So retain that belief that we're stating. And Dominic Diallo said, Dorgu is a flop. Bro can't even control a football, doesn't take his man on, and final ball is horrible.
Give him time.
2 years?
You
That's a lot, though.
1 year. Or I think in the second half of the season, Dorgu will be a lot better. I think he will improve under Ruben Amorim. Right now, he has some mistakes. He's young. He's 20.
Decision making is poor right now.
20 years old, and it's normal.
From Lecce to Man United.
From Lecce to Man United. Very different context. Premier League is so intense. It's very difficult to adapt to the league. And I think Dorgu and Seško will, in 6 months, will be a lot better than they are right now. So
And Ruben Amorim needs that to happen because Manchester United right now are top 3 in teams with most goals scored in the Premier League. And he doesn't have a top goal scorer of a striker still. And he has that in Mbomo, Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo, all scoring goals, mad important goals. And he doesn't have a striker. So yes, here at the end of the podcast, a bit of Ruben Amorim bias. You know we like it here at FC Wonderkid, episode 16. Thank you so much, Philippe, for going bold here with me. But if you're listening until now at the end, like on Spotify, follow us on, like on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's a huge help. Thank you, everyone. Next week, we're going to go bold once again and comment topics that you would like to see in the podcast and questions that we will answer in the next episode. Thank you so much for going bold with us here at FC Wonderkid.
thank you.